I like vlogging when you're actually going out and about with your camera, pointing at things, recording things. Today, I'm going to give it a shot. Just try. I'm gonna go to the car wash like I said I would in the video I just posted. But I'm literally gonna go wearing flip-flops to use the vacuum cleaner. Because seriously, that's all I got pending. The other thing I got pending, I don't have to be there at a certain time, but I want to push it toward noon, afternoon. I'm just eager for that pending matter to be over so that I don't feel anything looming in my brain. You know you're not allowed in here. Right, Dusty? You know you're not allowed in here, Dusty? He don't care. Wearing flip-flops is something I'm not used to when I'm going out. To me, they're a home item because I think about the peril of being out in flip-flops. If something happens, if there's an emergency, I gotta be able to run, things like that. The car wash is literally about 1.25 miles away. You gotta take risks. Sometimes I think about my video making journey and how my very first video ever that I have a legit recollection of making. It was back in the year 2012. I was pretty much trying to show a friend how I felt about something, and I remember that I was wearing like this bonnet looking hat, whatever they're called, bonnet, I'm not sure. But anyway, I don't remember what the context was, but I know that I put music in the background. And I remember that at the time I was super inspired by Jenna Marbles, but at the time I didn't have a way of making videos. I had this camera that you could set to make a video, but I did not have the skill to process a video to upload from a camera to the computer to the website. But now that I can use a phone and upload straight to the website, it fixed my issue there. The reason I specifically mentioned 2012 is because that is when I had been about a year into journaling. My thoughts were much more wild, I guess I could say. There was really no organization, no structure, nothing. And I missed that raw aspect of me because I wish I could have recorded my semblance as I expressed myself in that manner. The pain, the disappointment, the sorrow, but also the joy that I did feel here and there during that season, which wasn't a very good season for me. It was like a season of transitioning between the bad to a little bit of the good, but then with the good, the bad was still lurking in the background. Then I had some good, then it was neutral, and then it was okay. It never got to be good, but in little pieces there was some good. It was like a light trying to pass through a dark hole is the best way I can summarize it. And at least I'm grateful that I have words on pages to record memories from the time, which when I say memories, it's honestly not events. I wasn't going out, I didn't have friends, I still don't have friends, I still don't go out, but at least work exposes me to people, just like being in school exposed me to classmates at its respective time, whenever that was. But after it, it's like, okay, I'm out of school, but I'm still not doing anything. And then when I got the job, it was like, oh, I have been away from school for a while now, that being in the presence of groups of people really freaks me out. I was able to confirm being at home for a while without working that I can be happy being trapped in a home for months, not really feel a detriment, but I do yearn and crave something, but I don't want for it to be meaningless. That kind of conflict. So the reason I wish I would have started back then is because, I mean, when I say I could write for 6 hours straight. And it was as detailed as you may hear me ramble nowadays, except that now that I'm significantly older from those times, of course, I look at it as my thoughts were simply refined. By refined, it doesn't mean that they got better or happier or more positive or something like that. It's more about I'm able to express something without feeling shame or guilt. The shame or guilt that I was feeling at the time. And I think that the reason I had feelings like that is because you're raised one way, but then you start seeing things that conflict with what you learned, and you're not opposed to those conflicts, but you're trying to learn to incorporate them in a way that doesn't drift from your original values, because you know that your original values have been inculcated to keep you safe. And that's why I can say, well, at least no one has manipulated me into taking drugs, into being drunk, into making stupid decisions. See what I mean? But sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I would have gotten in trouble like that. If I were a troubled person, troubled mind with those kinds of issues, how would someone like me, the way that you can talk to me and reason with me and coach me, and I take the advice because I'm able to think through it and see the benefit or see the downside? That's what I wonder sometimes. But I'm also grateful that I'm not spending my adult years trying to repair myself from something like an addiction. What would that be like? But sometimes there's a little part of me that, to get back at my dad in a really stupid way, I think, imagine if I would have turned out to be that kind of a pearl. Because as a policeman, can you imagine me? He already doesn't talk to me or communicate with me much, and I'm actually accomplished on paper, even if career-wise, not necessarily. Academically, I most definitely was. But imagine if I would have had that. Maybe he would have been involved, but as an even bigger asshole. Or maybe I really would not have heard from him, since whenever my first run-in with drug issues would have been. So much to think about, so much to consider. You know, there's something that stood out to me. I remember a time when I used to buy a car wash for $20, 20. Now it's running me at $24. You might say, well, buy the subscription. Well, for me, it's not worth it because I like to hand wash, and trust me, I save much more. But I'm still aware that I'll use this car wash anyway, because when it snows and they put that salt on the road, I need a way to wash the undercarriage, and that's not something I can do when I hand wash, because at my apartment complex, I used to be able to connect my garden hose to a faucet and use it, but the office staff busted me one day, and I'm like, when did this change? Because I've been a resident of this place since forever. Is this a change that happened when the other company bought the community out? I'm guessing so. She didn't answer, of course, because people don't listen. So if I wanted to use my personal hose, my best chance would be something like a Sunday morning or Sunday evening when the office is closed, go to my usual spot and use my hose. Because at the time, what the woman said was, you can't use that because they're using it for the pool. And I'm like, no, they're not. The pool has already been serviced. It's not a day of the week for the pool to be serviced. The faucet is clearly not hooked to any hose. You're just tripping. I decided to forego my sunscreen, and yep, I can feel my skin baked onto itself again, if that makes sense. But anyway, I'm gonna use one of these complimentary dash wipes to wipe some kind of splatter here I have on the side. I really would love to make like a car washing / cleaning detailing video, but I really don't have a good spot to place the camera on. And on top of that, I don't do a perfect job at it. Like, I don't follow strict protocol and look at different products and be sure that I'm doing it in the right order, using the right technique, using the right product, the right amount, diluting it whatever way, blah blah blah. Like, very simple. I understand that this thing is gonna get old, and with age come flaws and damages. Just like I don't trip too hard over new scratches and tiny dents. Now if it's something massive, like you dead ass try to vandalize my vehicle, yeah, I'm gonna trip balls a little bit. But when it comes to like its cosmetic appearance, it's like, I haven't gotten a surgery on my scars in my body myself to try to make them disappear. Why would I do that to my car? You know, not accept that it's gonna have damages. And as long as the damages don't mean that it gets wet in the inside and that its integrity is compromised to where my safety is on the line, then I sincerely do not care. I don't worry about making my home interior perfect either. And you know, it's livable. Good enough for my standards. Nothing is gunky, nothing is sticky. So just why stress over it too much? Now, if one day I'm able to quit my job, sure, everything will look a little bit more polished. But until then, I gotta be wise with my time. I'm guessing I had like an accident with a milkshake or something because I'm seeing like brown splatter here. I promise you, this is not from me shitting myself, although I should be forgiven if I did shit myself in here. I really worked up a sweat and my bun got knocked over.